Okay, welcome to lesson 3 on practice checklist. The benefits of this lesson: 1, you're going to get direction on how to keep your notes flowing smoothly, like water. Whether it's your scales or the song you're playing, you're going to realize the importance of following the chord sheet and playing from memory. Next, you're going to discover the advantage of playing forte, and you're also going to learn how to create a practice checklist for your practice sessions. Okay, so to reach your destination quickly, you're going to want to start slow. Why? Because you want to have a vision of where you're going to end up and then use the right form to get there. One of the ways that you can achieve this is by using a metronome. You want to listen to the metronome. Now, when the metronome is playing, you want to ask yourself, am I playing 1 note per beat, 2 notes per beat, or more? Should all my notes be landing on the click or another pattern? For example, let's try 1 note per beat. And that was 4/4 time, 70 BPM. Let's try 2 notes per beat. So that's 2 notes per beat. Let's try 3 notes per beat. So that was 3 notes per beat. And we could also do 4 notes per beat. So that was 4/4 time. We can try 3/4 time as well, where it's just 3 beats in a bar. We can try 2 notes per beat. Then we can try 3 notes per beat on 3/4 time. So, there we go. From time to time, ask somebody to listen to you when playing, or alternatively, you can record your playing and listen back to see if you're in sync with the metronome. Also, remember when you're playing to keep your notes equal length. So, for example, all of them were equal length. Now, this is an example of notes that are not equal length. Now, you've got to make sure your notes are accurate. Keep the correct fingers on the correct keys. Sometimes you may need to switch off the metronome to focus on playing the notes accurately. That's okay. When your accuracy improves, then you can return to playing with the metronome. Now, it can get tricky when you're playing scales or phrases with 2 hands, simply because you have to do more than one thing at a time, but it's okay. With the C major scale, for example, the right hand and left hand have different finger patterns when ascending and when descending. Together. Now, the only time that they have the same finger pattern is when they are going in contrary motion. For example, okay? So if you find yourself playing with the wrong fingers or losing count during your practice, you can try one of these two methods. Firstly, you could try choosing a master hand to practice with and choosing a beginner hand. I'll explain. So you will tackle the scale with the master hand on its own. You'll practice it and get comfortable, get confident with that master hand. You will know when you're confident because you can play it without looking with that hand. Then you'll practice the beginner hand so you can remember the pattern for that hand. Finally, with both hands together, practice the scale, but keep your focus on the beginner hand. Because the master hand, you can play it without looking. You can play it from muscle memory. So you will now be able to keep your gaze, your focus on one hand instead of having to look at both hands and, mess the thing up. Second thing you can do is keep a clear note, preferably in writing, of where the notes cross over when you're playing the major scale. For example, C major right hand ascending in 2 octaves has 3 crossover points. So you have the E and the F. You have the B and the C. You have the E and the F again. Now, what you want to do is note down the cross pairs. So E and F is a cross pair. Then you would also want to write down the number, finger numbers for those cross pairs. So you've got E and F and 3 and 1 because it's the third finger to the first finger. Then as you're climbing up, you've got B and C and the finger numbers are 4 and 1. Then you would practice the hands individually while giving attention to the cross pairs. Okay, those points that cross over. And then you can come back when you're more comfortable. So if these 2 methods work for you, then go ahead and use them. We sometimes get the urge to skim read the scale notes or the finger pattern, and then we just put our hands on the keys and expect it to play flawlessly from the snapshot in our mind. Well, that method doesn't get the best results, and it's definitely not how we do things in this dojo. To help your focus and accuracy for notes and timings, you want to sing the melody of the song or sing out the finger numbers as you play them. For example, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. Or do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Also, sing out the lyrics to the song you're learning while practicing the chords. Sometimes you may want to hum the notes, that's okay. Then at some point, you will have memorized them effectively, and then you can now play from memory. Have you seen Olympic weightlifters competing against each other? That's their forte, heavy lifting. Forte is one of our dynamics in music. It means strong or loud because of how much strength you use to play. So if one of the Olympic lifters drop the weights that are in their hands, whoosh, what sound would you hear? Crash. Exactly. It's going to be a loud sound. It's going to be a strong sound. It's very important to practice your scales and the pieces you're learning in forte. Piano is also a dynamic we have in music, which means soft. Forte means loud. Okay? So don't get too comfortable practicing piano, practicing soft and quietly, because when you practice loud and strong, your fingers grip the keys. It allows you to still be comfortable playing when the dynamics rise in the song. Finally, aim to practice about an hour a day, around about an hour a day. For some, this may be less, for some, this may be more. You can use this model for logging down your practice sessions, the date that you're practicing, the duration, of your practice. How long did you practice? What song or piece is it? What techniques are you practicing? What hands are you using? And the tempo. So with all of these tips, you should be well on your way to having effective practice sessions. Remember, anything that you can measure, you can achieve. Make sure to listen to yourself often when you're playing to hear how you're progressing and to hear the things you play that you like.